Good morning, it's Deanna at Furnace Frills, and I have had so many people ask about crocheting, so I am going to give a little lesson on crocheting, and it's not hard, it's just a series of loops is all crocheting is. So I'm going to start at the beginning. We've got a piece of yarn and we want to start to crochet. So what we do is we make a loop like we're going to tie our shoes, and we bring the long end, the piece, not the little piece that's hanging out here, the long end, we're going to bring it through that. Okay, stick your deal through that and pull on either or. Doesn't make any difference because it's now a slip knot. Okay, so you just slip it down in there just like that. Now, okay, let's address this because you're going to hear a million different things. If your mother crochets or your mother-in-law or your sister or somebody down the street crochets, guaranteed they're going to hold it differently, okay? I've seen people hold their crochet hooks like this and crochet. I've seen people crochet with their hooks like this. I use this method. None of them is wrong, okay? You can crochet any of those ways, okay? This is the way that I actually evolved to over the years. When I was a little kid, I cannot remember, I think I always held my hook like this, but I know that I didn't use it correctly. I just kind of, put it in there and long. It didn't matter how far in or out or anything. But I started crocheting at an extremely young age. I mean, I can't even remember when I didn't know how to. And they have pictures of me crocheting when I was 3. So, I have just evolved into this method. And the reason why I hold my hook like this is because when you crochet, and they talk about tension and all the rest of that stuff, all that means is how big your loop is. If your loop is this size or if your loop is that size is going to determine how your tension is. Now I could crochet this thing with loops that big. All I have to do is pull it out to where the loops are that big. I could make loops that big. And there's actually crochet patterns out there that have you do that. Okay? However, most of the time, what you want to do, they tell you a size of crochet hook to use. And what that is the circumference of the hook. Okay? And this one that I'm using today is a J hook. It's a very large hook. I usually use very, very small hooks. And I think that's the reason why I have evolved into this way of doing it, because I use my ring finger to hold the loop on the deal. That way it's right there. It's not going to get any bigger. The farther down, your hook gets bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes up, okay? And the farther away you are from it, the more likely you are to have big and little stitches. And you don't want big and little stitches. You want them all the same, okay? So that's a big key. You do not have to do it that way, though. Understand, I am not saying that this is the only and the correct way to do it. It's just the way I've evolved to do it. So if you see me doing it different than you, don't worry about it. Do it your way. This is just a pattern. Okay? When I was a little kid, believe it or not, I would wrap my finger around there like that, and I would crochet. And I mean, I have pictures of the stuff that I did. How in the world did I have the patience to sit here and have that much tension? It is beyond my comprehension now. And so now I understand. My mom and my grandmother would just look at me and say, Deanna, why are you doing that? You don't do it like that. And I'm like, look, this is pretty. It comes out just fine. What's your problem? And it did. It worked fine. And I did not change crocheting like that until I was 19. And I learned to knit. And I finally learned to hold my thread the way my grandma and my mom showed me how. And it slips through your fingers so much nicer, and it just your tension is just right. However, having said that, I know people who hold their thread like this, and their crochet is beautiful. It's what's fine for you, okay? So this is an option that you can do. You put it through your hand like that, and then you turn your hand over, okay? And you hold your crochet, your excess crochet, with your thread hand, not your hook hand. This is your hook hand over here. You hold it with this hand. You hold that together like that. And that way you get a good tension, a good stitches all the time. Okay? So that's just a kind of a little tip as the way I do it. Like I said, I really don't think that there's a wrong or a right way. So, we got our hook, we got our thread, we got our slip stitch on there, and we're going to do a chain. All a chain is taking your hook, grabbing some yarn, and pulling it through. Grabbing some yarn, and pulling it through. Grabbing some yarn, and pulling it through. Grabbing some yarn, and pulling it through, grabbing some yarn and pulling it through. That is all a chain stitch is. You can do this from now until your ball of yarn is over, okay? And that's what you're going to get is a chain stitch. That's a chain stitch. Easy as it can be. Now, like I said, I know some people kind of come under and in like that, and they kind of go over and pull it through this way, and that way this is the way. However you do it, you need to get your yarn over that hook and back through that hole. It's a series of loops. It's all it is. It's a series of loops. Okay. So we're learning how to do a flower because I told Colleen I would tell her how to do a double crochet flower. So, of course, we're going to have 2 more stitches in a double crochet, okay? But it's no big deal. You do a chain stitch and you're going to chain 5. 1, 2. Every time you pull it through is a stitch. 3, 4, 5. And I am going to tell you that if you pick up a pattern, a chain stitch is CH. So if it says CH5, that means chain 5. Okay? All right, now, we've got our 5 on there. Okay? Now I'm going to join it with a slip stitch. And that is exactly what your pattern will say. Join with a slip stitch. All you do is go to the very first one down here, go through it. Okay? So you've got them just like that, your chains down there. You've gone through, grab your yarn, grab a hold of it, and pull it through both of them. You have joined. You now have a circle right there. There is a circle. Okay? Circle of chain. Okay? Alright, so now I am going to make double crochets as the petals of this flower. Okay? So when I join, I am not going to go up. I'm not going to do anything. I am just going to start doing double crochets. Just like you were doing before, Colleen. Okay? Yarn over. This is a double crochet, and it is probably the staple of crochet. Afghans, anything in crochet pretty much is going to have a double crochet in it, okay? So you've got your one loop on your hook, okay? You're going to get a hoop, And this time I want you to go into that hole, right in the middle of that hole. We're not going to do any going into stitches or nothing. We're just going to go into that hole. And we're going to go through that hole. Okay, let me do that one more time. I was talking. You get your yarn, go into the hole, go around it, grab some yarn, and bring it back up through the hole. Now you have 3 stitches, okay? Or 3 loops on your hook. You're going to get some more yarn. You're going to go through 2 of those hoops. Now you're going to have 2 left. You can get some yarn and go through 2 of those hoops. That's a double crochet. You do that again. Get some yarn through the hole, grab some yarn, pull it up. You got 3 sitting there. Get some yarn, bring it through 2. Get some yarn, bring it through 2. Now we have 2 double crochets. Now we're going to get some yarn, go through the hole, get some yarn. We have 3 hoops. Come through 2, get some yarn, come through 2. Now we have 4 double crochets. Now we're going to do it one more time. Get some yarn, go through, get some yarn. We have 3. Okay? And all the time, if you notice, I am pulling that little piece. I'm pulling it over here on the circle so that when I'm done, it's going to be all crocheted in there. So you pull it through 2, and you pull it through 2. All right, now I have 5. Let me make sure I've got 5. Maybe I only have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I only have 4. So I'm going to make one more. Get some yarn through the hole, pick up some yarn, come through 2, come through 2 again. Now, this is the only thing different, okay, Colleen, is you're going to make a slip stitch. And all a slip stitch is a chain over a stitch. That's all it is. You're going to go in your hole, not going to get any thread or nothing. You're just going to go in your hole, grab some thread, and bring it back through the loop. So in other words, you chained over the deal. That's a slip stitch. Now start making 5 more double crochets. Okay, I'm going to do them faster. Okay, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over, go through, get some, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over, go through, get some, 2, 2, yarn over, go through, get some, 2, 2, yarn over, get some, 2, and 2. Is that 5 or is it 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5. Okay, now I'm going to go down here and I'm doing another slip. Every petal in my flower is going to be 5 double crochets and a slip stitch. Okay, now what I am doing is I am grabbing a hold of that ring and I am pulling for all I'm worth 2. Condense these stitches down as far as they will go because it's a little hole to get 25 double crochets into, which is what we're going to do. Okay, so get it? Do double crochet. We're going to do 5 of them. Yarn over, go through, get some yarn, through 2, through 2. Yarn over, go through, get some yarn, 2, 2, yarn over, go through, get some yarn, 2, 2, yarn over, get some yarn, go over, 2, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's correct. Now I'm going to pull it where I'm going to have some more stuff out there to be able to do it, and I'm going to slip stitch. Okay, so through the hole, grab some, pull it through the hoop. Start my double crochets again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And another slip stitch. Okay, now I barely have any there, but you really don't need much. Okay, so I have just enough to finish my last one because I want 5 petals. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, 4 double crochet, 5 double crochet. Now I'm going to slip stitch, and then I'm going to chain 1 stitch. I'm going to pull it up, I'm going to cut it, so it's like that. Okay, you got your ends out there, pull out that one, you got this one sitting there, and you pull it real hard. Okay, now it's not coming loose. Now you have your flower, and stick a button in there, stick a rose in there, stick it on a headband, and you've got a nice little deal. Stick a button in there. You can put anything in there, really. A rose. Roses work well. This is just the size. It's about 2 inches across. Of course, this is done with the J hook, which is a very large hook, and it is done with regular thread. Now, if you do this with, say, a G hook and baby thread, it's going to come out to be about 1 inch. If you do it with a size 7 crochet hook and crochet cotton, it's going to come out right at 3/4 of an inch, and then you go down from there. And what you do with your ends, if you want to finish it off, okay, you got that tail there, right? You just go through your, you're going to go through the top 2 stitches of your double crochets. Okay? You're going to grab that piece, and you're going to pull it through. You're just going to weave it in. That's all there is to it. Just weave it in. Cut your excess off. It's no big deal. It's not going to go anywhere. Believe me. Just take it to the back, cut it off, your little piece of your end down here, cut it off, and there's your flower. Okay? So, chain 5, join with a slip stitch, and then 5 double crochets, slip stitch, 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 chain, you're done. Okay? Alright, hope you guys liked it. Let me know. Thanks.